Very good morning and welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2026, and we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Let's bring in our good friend, meteorologist Mike Favetta. Mike, it wasn't as bad yesterday as I thought. I thought it was going to be much more damp and cold, but nonetheless, kind of rainy on and off. So
Yeah,
it's exactly what you said. Before
and
you
and
take over,
last
though.
night we got another good soaking too.
Yeah, we sure did. Yeah, I heard I was about to put out the garbage last night and I heard there's tons of rain. I thought I can wait till morning. That's all good. It's all good because I'll melt. I'll melt if I get
Right.
wet. I take my monthly bath every like maybe 7 or 9 days, and
Like a true
oh, that's a whole
Italian.
other
Yep.
story. Yes, that's a whole other story. Garlic wafting from me. By the way, remember? I don't know if you recall, we did a story the other day of a young man who was attacked by a beaver in Mawa.
Hmm.
So Pam,
We did.
Pam has the video. So as it turns out, the question was, look at that. The question was, what caused the beaver to attack? Was it that maybe apparently there was a dam? We say beaver dam, the location. Beavers do make dams, and dams are usually where they have their families. So people are wondering, well, maybe there were baby beaver nearby, and that could be it. Turns out, no, it was what a lot of people suspected. They tested it, it was rabid. And apparently, it
Mm.
attacked other people in the day, not just that boy. They just happened to get the video of the boy. So the bottom line is anybody who was in that area, in that park, by that lake, you have to come into contact. It's not like, oh, I was walking by. But if you came
Sure.
into contact with that beaver, get tested because you could have been exposed to rabies. Rabies is 100% fatal if untreated. If treated, you're fine. So make
Yep.
sure you get treated if you were in the vicinity of that lake in that park where that boy got attacked. He's being treated, so he should be just fine. But unbelievable. It's Mother Nature. It is what it is. Anyway, I'm sorry. Just had to put that out there.
No, no, I'm glad you did because it's a fact that you kind of come across and you went, "Wow, that's a harrowing statistic" when you read about that. So yeah, coming into contact with rabid animals in the wild. Well, we've got some better news today, Ken. Brighter weather as you head outdoors, sunshine at your back. Not just yet. It takes a little bit of time to get that sunshine going. We start off this morning with the clouds that are exiting after some heavier rains overnight. You see them come down across New Jersey. They started shortly after, about 10, 11 p.m., and then some heavier showers throughout the early morning hours. Well, it's all along the front, which is now pushing well down to the south and east. So some lingering cloud cover this morning, but the clearing that occurs shortly after 9 or 10 a.m. brings back loads of sunshine across New Jersey, even right down to Cape May by the lunch hour. So we stay clear through this afternoon, dry through this evening. A quick sprinkle returns overnight. Shouldn't be a bother because it's right back to sunshine tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, after a beautiful sunny start, we get these intermittent sprinkles that come in just in time for the dinner hour. The bigger story, I think, is Saturday. Saturday's a washout. We start off with rain across northern New Jersey as the warm front pushes in, and then look at these showers and storms. Some downpours take over by the lunchtime hour on Saturday, lasting through the afternoon, clearing by Sunday or Saturday evening, leading to a beautiful Sunday for Mother's Day. But it's going to take some time to clear as a lot of this rain, again, much needed rain, works its way across the east. We've got more details on what to expect across the rest of the country and your weekend forecast, Ken, in just a few minutes.
Very good, sir. Appreciate you. 50 degrees right now in Trenton. It is also 50 in northern New Jersey. We look at Los Angeles, 58 degrees, 57 now in San Diego. And in terms of traffic, we have a few incidents to tell you about. Right now, there's a crash on Route 21, and that is northbound from north of Passaic Street, Oriental Street area to Miller Street, Newark. All lanes are open, just a little bit of a slowdown, nothing major. On Route 42, we do have an issue that you're going to want to watch out for. This is in Gloucester Township. There's an overturned dump truck, and that is causing delays northbound by exit 7 College Drive, again, Route 42. We have a debris spill, Garden State Parkway southbound, south of exit 89B. That's again in it says Lakewood Township. That's near Toms River. Right shoulder is closed. Beware of that. And your approaches to the Hudson River, the Lincoln and Hollander, both 20 to 25 minutes of GWB upper and lower levels, moving Not so bad a lot. You can see that upper level on the right, lower level on the left. It is moving. So that's a good thing. Hopefully that'll stay that way this morning. We go over to the West Coast. We have a crash, to tell you about, and that's in Altadena at the 210 and North Baldwin Avenue. A collision just occurred in Newhall on the 5 at San Fernando Mission Boulevard off ramp. And we have, and you know what? We got to ask Mike again. I got like 10 accents that just popped up in California at this hour. That has to be, I have something that says road and weather conditions. So we'll ask Mike if there's rain again. Whenever there's rain in California, they get a ton of crashes. We have another crash that happened central LA on the 101 at North Benton Way. It is 6 minutes past the hour. The superintendent of Belleville Public Schools announced school buildings will be closed for the rest of this week. So today and tomorrow. Students will instead work online from home today and tomorrow. Students can pick up Chromebooks at the schools, and students needing meals can get them at Belleville High School.
Belleville families, Dr. Eric Alfonso, Superintendent of Schools, wants to provide you with the most recent update. We just met with OEM and emergency services. Upon their guidance, it is strongly encouraged that we maintain schools closed for the rest of the week. This to ensure that they have what they need and the accessibility to be able to move, and also the constantly changing environment. We reached out to the Department of Education and got their approval to start virtual instruction.
That is unbelievable aerial destruction that they showed. It's amazing with technology today. They have their own drone and they edited their own video and they put that on. So good job, Belleville. We used to live there. Great town, great people. Belleville School Superintendent Dr. Eric Alfonso, whom you just saw, pointed out the area is still dealing with what was one of the worst fires in the history of Essex County. A 14 alarm blaze. How often do you hear of a 14 alarm blaze? It broke out Sunday afternoon, burned right through Monday morning. You see how it happened? It was purely an accident. This poor guy's working in a mattress factory and he was using a steel grinder and it made a spark go off, and the spark caused some nearby matting and wood to catch fire. And apparently, I guess factories like that have different fire suppression rules. So the fire quickly spread. Look at that. In a matter, this should be an illustration to how fast fire spreads and why you need to be prepared in your kitchen. You need to have an active working fire extinguisher right there, because 10 seconds, it's out of control. 10 seconds. Look at this. And they have a little sprayer, which was like a joke. I mean, I'm not making fun of them, but the sprayer is like nothing compared to that fire. They tried, but that spread to literally destruction of that whole chunk of downtown Belleville. So that should be a warning right there. Thank God nobody got hurt or killed. That's a miracle, but that's a warning to everybody. So there were still hot spots, by the way, yesterday. At least 4 buildings totally destroyed. And again, please make sure you have a fire extinguisher, not just one, several in your house. They cost like $15. Otherwise, your whole home could go up, your family could be in danger. So please, power, gas, water, all cut off to that entire section of town. At least 50 homes had to be evacuated. Those residents are staying in temporary shelters while technicians take air samples to make sure it is safe for people to return to the area. It is 8 minutes past the hour now, and more negotiations to try to end the war in Iran were in progress as President Trump renewed threats against the country on social media. There's now a one-page plan that would end the war while creating a 30-day negotiation period on resolving issues. Some of the sticking points include nuclear issues. The U.S. is saying that Iran must ship its highly enriched uranium out of the country to one of our friendly nations, not just to China, and they must agree to never hold or make nuclear materials or weapons, or will just return and bomb them immediately. They must also fully open the Strait of Hormuz immediately. In return, the U.S. would unfreeze Iranian assets. The U.S. expects Iran to respond in the next 48 hours. In the meantime, the president announced a temporary pause to Project Freedom less than 48 hours after the U.S. military began the operation to escort commercial and tanker vessels through the Iran-restricted Strait of Hormuz. If you thought that President Trump was losing support among Republicans, think again. The president destroyed most of the Indiana Republican lawmakers who stood against his plan to redraw congressional maps to keep hold of the U.S. House of Representatives ahead of this year's midterms in the state's primary Tuesday. So, out of the 7 GOP incumbents on the ballot in Indiana who opposed Indiana creating new congressional districts, only State Senator Greg Good held on to the nomination. So basically, President Trump said, "You're going against my wishes? I'm going to support the other guy. And in all but one case, everybody Trump supported won and literally gave a butt whooping to all the incumbent rhino Republicans, the people who thought, well, you don't understand Indiana, Mr. President. It's much more mainstream. No, it's not. Indiana voted for Trump overwhelmingly. Maybe you should listen to the guy. I don't care where you stand politically. He is a formidable. So listen to the guy. So now you learned your lesson. And that should be probably a lesson to all the other middle of the road GOPers around the country. If Trump supports you, you're in. If not, you got a 95% chance you'll be out. It is what it is. CNN founder Ted Turner has passed away. The media maverick and philanthropist passed away peacefully early yesterday, surrounded by his family. He was 87. Got to meet Ted once. The Ohio-born Atlanta businessman, nicknamed the Mouth of the South for his outspoken nature, although by today's standards he would be quiet. Back then he was outspoken. He built a media empire that encompassed cable's first superstation and popular channels for movies and cartoons. Remember Superstation TBS, Turner Broadcasting? Plus professional sports teams. He owned the Atlanta Braves. Turner eventually sold his networks to Time Warner and later exited the business, but continued to express pride in CNN, calling it the greatest achievement of his life. And some House and Senate members criticized a NASA budget proposal for fiscal year 2027 that includes significant cuts, suggesting they may instead use last year's spending bill as a guide. In back-to-back hearings held by both House and Senate committees, members of both parties told NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman the $18.8 billion proposed for his agency in 2027, a 23% cut from 2026 already, was insufficient. They're saying cut more. Appropriators at both hearings complained that NASA was late in submitting its fiscal 2026 operating plan, which provides details about how it will spend the funding appropriated in the current fiscal year. And the FBI has raided the office of a powerful Virginia Democrat lawmaker and ally of Governor Abigail Spanberger as part of a federal corruption and illegal marijuana sale probe. Longtime state Senator L. Louise Lucas, who stumped for Spanberger on the campaign trail, is now at the center of a major FBI corruption probe. Agents executed court-authorized criminal search warrants at her home and her office in Portsmouth, Virginia. The FBI also carried out a SWAT team search of a nearby cannabis dispensary that she co-owns, literally right next to her office. At least 3 people were held during the raids. The raids put more political pressure on Spanberger, the current governor, who is already facing plummeting poll numbers, literally down over 20 points since she took office a few months ago. Forcing down a far-left agenda on the once purple state. So this is what happens. The left came in pretending to be middle of the road. They were not. They were far leftists. And the federal government has taken the city of Denver to court, filing a lawsuit Tuesday to dismantle the city's local ban on semi-automatic rifles and high-capacity magazines, a ban that was enforced after the 2012 Aurora mass shooting. The Justice Department argues that Denver's decades-old ordinance directly violates our Second Amendment rights of the residents. Prosecutors argue the firearms, like AR-15 style rifles, are not weapons of war like the left likes to call them. They're instead arms of common use. 28 million of them in the U.S. If they were weapons of war, how could literally 1 in 11 people in the U.S. have one? If they're weapons of war, then everybody is a standing army member. It's 13 minutes past the hour. When we come back, we're going to talk with our compliance friend, Evie Wenting, about a couple of scandals, some real big fraud scandals that happened. You're going to want to hear it. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. Mornings with Ken Rosato. It is Thursday, live in New Jersey and New York. Now we welcome our friends in Los Angeles and San Diego. 15 minutes past the hour. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Now we bring in our good friend, meteorologist Mike Favetta, fresh with a second baby in the house. Two of them. There is nothing. Listen, if you want the best sleep of your life, don't have
Mm,
one, but have two babies
have
16 months
two,
apart.
yes.
You will sleep like a baby because their sleep habits kind of come off on you. So, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you look rested and fresh.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You have the giant ShopRite shopping bags under my eyes that are just weighing me down. But it's all about the coffee, right? Because then you teach the children to make coffee, and then whether it be fake from the playset or the real thing, many cups just to get through the morning. Good morning to you, Ken. We've got beautiful weather, nature's caffeine in the form of some beautiful sunshine today and even into tomorrow. But Saturday brings a gentle shower early in the morning, heavier rain by the midday and afternoon. Mother's Day clears out nicely, though, starting off the second half of the weekend nice and dry, and then more rain on the way for Monday. We get a dry day Tuesday with all the clear sky, and then yet another day of rain by Wednesday. So it's kind of one day of sun, one day of rain, pretty much until the end of next week. The futurecast showing all of that wet weather from last night, exiting out to the east. So we get a beautifully dry day today. And then our next system comes in from the south and west. That's our rain for Saturday. Gives us quite a bit of wet weather, maybe a sprinkle by Sunday afternoon, but even that's not looking too impressive given how all of the clear sky on Saturday evening into Sunday will look beautiful to start off Mother's Day. The pollen report sees a moderate level, much lower levels of pollen, thanks to all of the rain rinsing all of the allergens from the atmosphere. I mean, you put the windshield wipers on with just a second of the windshield washer fluid, and it's like green and black on the edges of your windshield. So much pollen. Even the pediatrician yesterday saying she's seeing kids come in with hives just in the last 2 weeks because allergy season is so rough. All the clear sky down in Southern California, so no rain in LA this morning. Maybe a little bit of a locally dense fog, perhaps, with the clear sky causing that pile up that Ken was talking about, but we're dry on the West Coast. We'll talk more about your weather coming up in just a few, Ken.
Did you call me fully dense?
Fog, did I? I don't remember. I don't remember what I said 10 seconds ago, Ken.
Poor man, we're gonna get you. We're gonna get you like we'll have like 10 people come in and help your wife with the babies. You just need. We'll get you like a massage, kind of a daddy spa day. That's what we're gonna get you.
Sounds lovely.
All right, my friend. Thank you as always. We adore you, Mike. You are awesome. 47, is that right? Yes, 48 degrees actually. Northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton. Off to the West Coast, 57 degrees Los Angeles, and it's 56 degrees now in San Diego. Let me just adjust something on the monitor here. Okay. We look at traffic. We have a bunch of issues right now. Let's start with Route 42. There's an overturned dump truck, and this is on 42 northbound at exit 7 by College Drive in Gloucester. Yes, I got from Pam, is College Drive by 42? I said, that's exactly where it is. And of course, Pam's eagle eyes spotted that. It's a blurry shot, but at least you see it. So that is by Gloucester Township on the left. You could see that the, again, overturned dump truck. And that happened about half an hour ago by exit 7 in Gloucester. We have an issue on Route 21 right now, northbound, north of Passaic Street, Oriental Street to Miller Street in Newark. There is a crash impacting traffic. All lanes are open, but things are moving slowly. We move over to the New Jersey Turnpike. Let's go to where there's a crash. You'll see on the Turnpike by the ramp to southbound Garden State Parkway from Interchange 11 and Woodbridge. All lanes open, but you can see right there, front and center of your screen, you see the emergency vehicles there. We have some slowdowns now at the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln is now up to 35 minutes. The Holland's 25 minutes, and the GWB upper and lower levels moving, but a little slow. You can see the upper level on the right, lower on the left. It's going to cost you about 35 minutes in. Quickly to the West Coast, traffic collision in Newhall at the 5 and Roxford. We have a crash that just happened in West LA at the 405 and Braddock, and a collision that just happened in Altadena at the 210 and North Baldwin Avenue. It is 20 minutes past the hour. Evie Wenting of Ethical Edge Experts is a culture and compliance strategist who spent years working for New Jersey companies, developing compliance programs, helping to ensure they are in compliance with all federal and local laws. What used to be something that the general manager kept an eye on now requires a whole department to keep running smoothly. Let's welcome her in right now to talk about some big events that happened recently. Good morning to you, Evie.
Good morning, Ken.
Great to have you on. And there are a few recent stories here in the Garden State that I'm sure have caught the attention of corporate execs, or at least it should have. 12 people were charged in a large-scale credit card fraud and money laundering. We just got a little. All right. We'll fix that. We'll have Evie called back. That's what happens when two people get the same number. We'll pause on this for Evie, but just bottom line, there were a couple of stories. One story was there's Evie. We got her back. We had 12 people caught in a large scale credit card fraud and money laundering scheme. Every time the other person calls back now, we're going to have that problem. All right. I'll hold on. You know what? Let me tap dance for a second. We'll fix this. Um, I'll describe what happened. In this one case, these 12 employees were involved in this scheme. In another case, there was a longtime employee at a truck leasing company, actually with two other friends, and they were able to scam millions of dollars from the truck leasing company over years. So that
Okay,
person
yes, I can
was
hear you. Hold on, let me write
that
this down.
person, and yeah,
Okay.
we got Evie coming back right now. But that person was apparently
833
a trusted. Watch out, Pam. We got
36.
audio up. Watch out! We got audio up. I got audio up. All right, want to make sure because I'm hearing numbers. I don't want that going out over the air. But anyway, in the second case, there was a longtime employee at a truck leasing company who allegedly stole millions of dollars from within the organization. And what happened in that case is because of that, what ends up happening is you get trusted. People figure, it's no big deal. And then that person is allowed to run the company entirely, basically. And over a period of 5 years, 10 years, they skim millions. I don't know how that company must have been doing very well because they didn't miss millions of dollars. But now, as it turns out, the individual who allegedly did this with their cohorts, they're responsible, according to the allegation here, the accusation of skimming millions of dollars. Should we try to go to Evie and hope it doesn't get cut off again? Evie, by the way, this is not you. What happens when two people try to dial in on the same number at the same time, one knocks off the other. So two people were given the same number. All right. Should we try it? No, we can't. We can't. All right. We can't. So I don't know if we're going to have time. It's already 24, Pam. It's already 24. Is our producer calling these people? All right. No, the question was, is our producer calling these people? All right. 24 minutes past the hour. Let's just talk something else entirely, folks. I'm so sorry about this. Should not be happening. Let's talk about what's happening in Iran right now. It's live TV. It happens. So what's happening in Iran right now? We have a case where people have said, is the president in control in what's going on in Iran? And when is this quagmire going to end? Well, first of all, a quagmire means there's no way out. And many experts are saying you can't have. Yeah. We got 3 minutes, Pam. Do you want to go on for 3 minutes? I'm sorry, folks. We'll figure this out. All right, let's do this. Evie, let's bring Evie on. I'm so sorry, Evie. Evie's my friend for 20 years. You can bring her up. Thank you. Hello, Evie. So
Hello, Ken.
here's what happens. This is what happens with modern technology. If two people have the same connection, and we have like 20 connections, so I don't know why two people have the same, but if two people have the same connection, one knocks off the other, and that's a problem. So anyway, we have you on, albeit I'm so sorry for like 2 minutes now. That's why we'd
That's
love to just have you on a different day instead. But okay, let's talk about this. The first story is this one case where you had 12 people working in a company dealing with credit card fraud. And this is something that the general manager needs to keep an eye on, but often doesn't. How does a person kind of keep their tentacles on what's going on with their employees to prevent fraud on a major scale going on in their company?
you have to ensure that you have a culture of speak up, right? Because clearly you can't take care of everything, every single area of the company. You just it's physically not possible, but if you have a culture, if you have a compliance program in place, and I know people don't like to hear compliance, it's boring, but this is what we exactly prevent. People are will notice issues more. And when you have the culture of integrity and compliance that you work on every day, it's not just like one annual training, they will speak up more than not. I have a study that was published by one of the companies called LRN that deals with compliance, and they say low impact programs. So if you do the bare minimum, your speak up rate is 22%, if that. And if you have high impact programs, your speak up rate is over 55%. Okay, so
Wow.
you see that speak up means people feel comfortable to say something when they see that something goes wrong. In that case, somebody must have noticed something, but maybe they did not feel empowered to say something because maybe they would feel fear of retaliation, right? Which is a serious issue as well. So
Sure.
when you invest in these kind of programs, this is exactly what we try to prevent, you know?
That's why compliance is so essential, whether you have a company with just 2 employees or 2,000 employees. This is why you have to do this. When I heard this second story, I was dumbfounded. A
Yeah.
truck leasing company, and it's in our area in northern
Close.
New Jersey. Now we all know the area. We were both kind of like, "Huh?" And apparently, one employee, with the help of two others, the allegation is over a course of years, they stole millions. How do you
Yes.
skim millions and it gets unnoticed?
I was doing a calculation because I suppose the company initially noticed that they missed $5 million. So $5 million, if you translate to monthly, so in 5 years, that's over $41,000 a month you were paying yourself with these checks. How are you missing that? So what I think happened, and obviously I don't have details of the case, is he had created a fake company, had these checks passed through, but these two ladies who were also part of it may have just pushed it along, either were afraid not to say anything, or they may have been bribed to keep quiet. Who knows what the story is? But if you had a hotline, if you had program in place established, if you had those policies and training, and you continued conversation about fraud and bringing in stories like this, that's part of my program. We talked about integrity playbook. Sometimes this is exactly what it does. As a manager, you are able to talk to your employees about these kind of stories to help to prevent those stories from happening in your own companies. That's really where it's
Gotcha.
at.
And that's why you need to have compliance people. And now if you can't afford a full-time compliance person, you could hire an outsider, just like you'd hire a CPA, right? Like yourself, you have
Correct.
an outside company. So what's a website for your company for people to get more information about compliance?
It's www.ethicaledgeexperts.com.
All right. Well, I'm so sorry about the connectivity issues we were having today, Evie. It wasn't on you, it was on us. We love having you on all the time. We got Evie at the last second, too. She was nice enough to come on. A culture and compliance strategist, Evie Wenting. If you have a company, small or large, you need somebody like this. No, she's not fraud. We, we have fraud on the
We
screen.
prevent it.
Evie's not fraud. She prevents it. You got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Evie, my friend for 20 years. I love you. I'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Thank you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.
You bet. 30 minutes past the hour, and it has been a big year for local journalism and storytelling in New Jersey. Our other dear friend, veteran journalist, the owner of Binge, Tom Bergeron, he's going to join us live in just a minute. Don't go away. Good morning, 32 minutes past the hour now, Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're live on the East Coast, ONNJ.com, West Coast now, ONLACA.com. And then we're doing a beta channel too right now, ONFLA.com for those of you in the Sunshine State. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you. Good morning, Mike.
Are we sponsored by Sesame Street? We're reading all the letters out early this morning, Ken.
Hey, at least I had my
Very
second
nice.
cup of coffee. I'm able to get to the letter M.
That's true.
After that, that's it.
Yes.
I'm done.
That's important. That's important. With all of the great weather on the way for today, you may enjoy all of this sunshine through this afternoon, even if you find yourself on the West Coast today with all of the clear sky up and down the West Coast, right down to the tip there on the border. We've got beautifully warm weather with a little bit of a ridge allowing for the temperatures to remain above average. Now, East Coast temperatures, very different. It's actually cooler than usual, with highs today only making it back into the 60s, and then we get even cooler tomorrow into the 50s with more chilly weather that comes right on down. So we had our rain last night. There it goes out to sea for the rest of the day today. Our forecast for tomorrow is okay. Starts off sunny and then gradually turns cloudy by the afternoon with another round of rain for tomorrow night. But it's Saturday that has quite a bit of wet weather, and all of that rain lingers right through Saturday afternoon and into the evening. Good news is it clears out just in time for a beautiful day on Sunday for Mother's Day to start. I think Sunday afternoon could have some more rain come in, especially by the evening hours. We'll time that out for you coming up with another check of your forecast in our next weather update.
Yeah, I was going to say you better have good weather for mothers because Mother Nature is
Mm-hmm.
otherwise going to have a little meeting with you, sir. We got to make sure of that. All right, Mike. Thank you, buddy. It is 51 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 in Trenton. It's 47 in Cape May to the West Coast, 57 degrees in Los Angeles, 57 also in San Diego right now. And it has been a big year for local journalism and storytelling here in New Jersey. What started as a digital platform spotlighting the state's business, culture, and innovation scene quickly grew into a go-to source for in-depth reporting. And now it is even hitting the highway. It's got a billboard to celebrate its first anniversary. At the same time, New Jersey's film and entertainment industry is booming. From the recent New Jersey Film Expo to major economic drivers like UFC events in Newark, there's a lot shaping the Garden State right now. Our friend Tom Bergeron is here, the owner and editor of Binge. Good morning to you, Tom. Good to have you on.
Ken, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Tom experienced firsthand what happens with new technology. You're an owner, operator, editor, so you know you got to do more with less. And this is what happens when you do more with less. We rely on automation, and you encountered as Tom was trying to dial in, the other person was trying to dial in. That's what we call when it's like Zoom, similar to Zoom, and everybody knocks each other off. That's what happens. But I know Pam is going to bring it full. I was so excited for you. That's a big deal, man. Congratulations on 1 year. That is a big deal. How proud were you when you looked at that billboard behind you?
Look, we're thrilled at what we've been able to do. Our 1 year anniversary was Tuesday. We wanted to celebrate in a special way. So we were able to get a couple of billboards around the state. Some will run this week, some will run next week. We just wanted to do a big and bold way, sort of like Binge, to announce where we're at.
And that's the way to do it. You put your heart and your soul in that place. You have decades of experience making other people money. Some of the other big names in New Jersey and New York metro area news, and it's great to see you doing it for yourself because, and we're all blessed by that. What was your vision originally when you started Binge? Because people were saying, I'm sure a lot of people said you want to get into media when everybody's getting out of it. What was your thought behind that?
Listen, we think niche media still has a role here. We think the business community is not covered as a business community as they do. So, we always, our tagline is always, it's not what we cover, but who we cover for. It's the business leaders, the C-suite leaders in the state, whether you're small, medium, large, and the people who want to know what's going on. And let me just add, our ultimate goal, bringing in your previous guest, Evie, here, is that we're so successful that someone is able to steal $5 million of profits from us. If we can reach that, Ken, then we'll have a real story.
That is such a mouth-dropping story to think that this went on for years. But New Jersey has great stories. I mean, it's because it's that sort of the outskirts of New York and Philadelphia. So much goes on in our state and it gets unreported. That's why it's great that Binge exists. And you recently covered the New Jersey Film Expo. Talk about what stood out for you with that.
So look, when people think about the film industry in New Jersey, they think about Netflix coming, they think about Lionsgate coming and Paramount, they think about Steven Spielberg filming here. But from a business aspect, the tentacles are so much greater. If you just start thinking about, first of all, the jobs, so many people in the industry live here because they're used to working in New York and now they don't have to. If you do props, if you do catering, if you do sound, if you do lighting, there's such an opportunity for you. Service providers, we're there. Genova Burns is there. Witham is there. Valley Bank is there. They have all of the needs you have for, look, it's great to say you got a grant from the EDA, but you need an accountant to make sure that goes right. You need a legal team to make sure that goes right. You need a bank to make sure that you can pay your people. So the tentacles off of the film industry are so much greater than Netflix coming to Fort Monmouth. That's a huge headline and a huge deal for the state. But the reach of this is absolutely incredible.
Even every DoorDash driver and deli and bodega and gas station, really in Fort Monmouth, in that area. I hope they're buckled down because the amount of business they're going to get is going to be incredible, right?
It's amazing. And when you look to the future, all the possibilities are great. And Ken, one thing I want to say about the Film Expo, it was in the old Meadowlands Arena, which still exists. It was like going to a time capsule, and they went there because it's a good open space, good sound. But I got to tell you, there was a billboard still hanging up promoting that Xanadu was coming soon. There was another billboard talking about how the Super Bowl was coming to MetLife soon. God bless, near and dear my heart, there was a huge billboard for the old Star Ledger. It really was fun to go there and to remember this was the last arena that held a Final Four before they went to the stadium. So from the Stanley Cup to the NBA Finals to Bruce and Bon Jovi to the Final Four, the Meadowlands Arena was really cool, and to see it back again was interesting.
I remember it back in my youth. I used to come from Westchester County. I used to come to see stuff there. Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely part of the past. What stories are you most excited about right now, Tom?
So we like to say, where we've been, where we're going. Two events that I went to last week that were great. The 80th birthday of Rutgers Newark. The new chancellor, Tanya Smith Jackson, is quickly up to speed on what that campus is about. And for people who don't realize it, yes, it grew out of its own entity. And yes, it took a step forward during the transformation of Newark, shall we say, in the 60s. But really what it is now, it's a first generation haven for New Jersey students, New Jersey urban students. 81% of the students there are from New Jersey. And as the chancellor explained to me, what that gives you is an opportunity to do some real research with a real urban New Jersey first generation audience. You can get information more than anything. Another great place I went to was the opening of Harvest, also in Newark on Halsey Street, from our friends at RWJ Barnabas and Balpreet. Graywall Verk set this up. Mark Manigan, the CEO. This isn't just something that battles food insecurity and it's a place where you can go to get a meal. What they've created here is a test kitchen. So people can come and learn how to cook healthy food. They have registered dietitians. You can get your SNAP benefits. They're bringing in grade schoolers to understand, here's what healthy eating is. But there's a whole business aspect to it. They have a commercial kitchen. If you have a business, you can go there and learn how to grow your business. And in the back, there is a food collective. So food can come in from New Jersey farmers, not only to be used there, but to be used in New Jersey restaurants, and nothing goes to waste. So it really is, Harvest on Halsey Street is really an incredible experience.
Love that. And if you're a young entrepreneur, and you're not supposed to use your home kitchen, you can't legally do that to make cookies or whatever you want to do. You can use that kitchen, right? There's a way to use that kitchen to start your business. It's brilliant. RJW Barnabas, God bless them. What a great deal that is. A blessing for Newark. Fantastic. The website, give everybody the website, please, sir. That is the Magical Epicenter.
Binge.com, BINJE, business in New Jersey everyday.com. We're there 24 hours a day, posting left and right. Happy to check us out.
I can't wait to see the billboard myself. Driving up and down New Jersey, all over. I love it. Congratulations on 1 year. Many people can't survive one day in the industry, and you have made it to a year. I'm sure there are a lot of people right now, as they say in the street, very jelly of you, sir. And we are very happy and proud of you. The website, binje.com, binge.com, owner and editor Tom Bergeron. Always love having you on. See you very soon. Happy
Thanks for having
anniversary.
me.
You bet. He is fantastic, and what a great resource for the state. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, a heartwarming love story unfolding right here in New Jersey. You will not want to miss it. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's full forecast, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 45 minutes past the hour, taking calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Is that meteorologist Mike Favetta? I think it is. Come on in, Mike. We got the Garden State
Good
forecast
morning.
for the East Coast and the wonderful Golden State forecast for the West Coast. I looked at California's weather. As a forecaster, as a meteorologist, do you look at Southern California weather and go, because it was like sunshine, maybe a puffy cloud every day for the
It's
next 7 days.
true. It's true. There's a little pattern, right? So there's seasons in Southern California, not like winter, summer like we have in the East Coast, but you get a little rainy season where some showers come in March and April. And now we're back to the gorgeous stretch of beautiful blue sky that'll take over, even with an early morning marine layer down along the coast, right back to sunshine through the rest of this afternoon. And that's the case even through tomorrow with that clear sky taking over again, nice high pressure and control, driving out any clouds and keeping the valley nice and clear. A little bit of fog up towards San Francisco, but beyond that, not much else you can expect for the West Coast. And with that clear sky lasting into today, look at that, not a cloud early this morning, and we'll keep it that way through the weekend. East Coast, very different story. A lot of rain coming in, and this wet weather sticks around for the next several days, on and off. It's not rainy from here right through next week. We get about a day of rain, day of sun, day of rain, day of sun. It's the alternating pattern with each front that moves on by. So we started off with the cooler weather yesterday, and we keep the chill around with even chillier weather today through tomorrow. Look at that cold, that shade of purple that comes in. This is something you typically see in the winter time with all of that cold air. So it'll feel really chilly each and every morning. And as we head through Saturday, our next rainy day, all day long, Sunday starts off nice and dry, but we have another shower that comes through Sunday evening into Monday, lasting through Monday afternoon. Tuesday, nice and dry, and then back to the rain by Wednesday. So it's kind of this pattern of every other day we get these showers. You can even see here with the clearing that took over this morning, we're nice and dry through this afternoon. A few spotty sprinkles tomorrow afternoon beyond a beautiful sunny morning. And then there's all the rain that comes in for Saturday. Lots of wet weather to start off our weekend. But Sunday looks to be nice and dry to start. Later on Sunday into Monday, that's when more rain returns. So next time we join you live, Ken, first thing on Monday morning, we'll be talking about cooler than average temperatures. Have to wait till the end of May to warm up even for southern New Jersey. But it's another rainy morning commuting on Monday morning, Ken.
All right, that's just the way it is. 'Tis the season, right? As
Yeah.
we change seasons, and yeah, we're still changing seasons. Spring and fall are just the buffer zones for winter and summer, aren't they? We think of them as distinct
Basically, yeah.
seasons, but they're really just the buffer zone when we have the clash of fronts. All right, I remember my science teacher, Mr. Schaefer, teaching me that in the 7th grade, and it made me so sad because I thought spring is my favorite season. He's like, "Well, it's not really a season; it's a transition."
Oh,
Don't
it's a
tell me that.
season. It's a season. Frankie
Well, let's
Valley would
track down
disagree,
Mr.
right?
Schaefer.
Otherwise, they wouldn't call themselves that.
They would be the two and a
Uh-huh.
half
See, Mr.
seasons.
Schaefer? Right.
All right, Mike. Thank you, Professor Favetta. We appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. And he is a professor, by the way. He really does teach at college. 48 minutes past the hour. Temperatures 50 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 in Trenton. Up and down the state, steady 50 degrees. Over to California, 58 now. In Los Angeles, 57. San Diego. And we check our traffic. We have a problem on the New Jersey Turnpike right now, and that is a crash. It's on the inner roadway northbound south of interchange 14, which is by 7H. Do we have the, yeah, there we go. Oh, she says, Pam says, they just cleared the crash because that was, you see it? Oh, you see it way at the top? Yeah, by the green sign on the upper right. So they've got it probably off to the shoulder now. But a couple of minutes ago, this was bumper to bumper traffic. Trust us. Thankfully, it's moved off, and that's a good thing. But this is by interchange 14 in Elizabeth. That's not far from the airport right there. All lanes now open. There was a debris spill on Port Street, and that is by Brewster Road in Newark. That's being worked on right now. Oh, something else just popped up. Let's see. On the Garden State Parkway, we do not have a camera shot for this, but this is a crash. Local lanes southbound, north of exit 117, Aberdeen Township. The right lane is currently blocked. Over to Route 42, if we can, we have an overturned dump truck. Route 42 northbound at exit 7, College Drive in Gloucester. The ramp lane and right shoulder are closed. You could see the emergency vehicles kind of there on the, yeah, you could see the one vehicle on the shoulder still on the left part of your screen. Terrible camera shot, but at least that's where it was happening. You see some buildup of traffic getting off at the top there as well. Over to, let's see, we have the Route 139 approach from the New Jersey Turnpike to the Holland Tunnel. That's going to cost you about 35 minutes in. Just volume at this point, no crashes or anything to tell you about, but it is heavy. And the Lincoln Tunnel approach 25 to 30 minutes into the Helix, GWB upper and lower levels moving, but a little on the slow side. It's going to be about 35 minutes in, upper level on the right, lower on the left. To Los Angeles we go. We have a report of a fire now at the 110 and West Florence Avenue. That's in central LA. We have a report of a fire also in Santa Fe Springs, and this is by the Cherry Avenue on-ramp at Route 91. And we have a traffic collision that just happened central LA at the 101 at North Benton Way. So that's what's going on. We got a lot on the roadways right now, East Coast and West Coast. There was a passing spritz in Southern California, and even though it's only 4:51 in the morning, whenever there is so much of as a spritz, the roadways get very oily and slippery because they don't get a lot of rain. They get almost no rain in Southern California. It's a desert, and as a result, pardon me, the roadways get slick right away, and you get accidents, and people forget how to drive in the rain. Pam, is that a guest? Very good. All right, just confirming. A heartwarming love story unfolding right here in New Jersey, showing how meaningful connections and big moments can happen at any stage of life. New Concepts for Living is a nonprofit that supports adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And there was a resident there who recently went above and beyond to ask his girlfriend to prom, complete with flowers, a handmade poster, and a lot of courage. It is such a sweet story. The couple is now preparing for a special Kentucky Derby themed prom happening this Friday in Paramus. Caitlin Lee, come on in, the day program
Hi,
assistant director. Hello at New Concepts for Living. Good morning to you, Caitlin.
good morning.
Before I go on, Caitlin, last night I was trying to make sure I had the pronunciation correct of one of your people. I want to make sure I do have it. Is it Mariah or
That
Maria?
is correct. Mariah.
Mariah. All right.
Yes,
So it's Weiss and Mariah. That's whom we're talking about, this adorable couple. Talk about, first off, the work that you do with adults in your programs.
sure. So, New Concepts for Living has 2 day programs where we provide services for individuals who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDD. And we also operate 22 group homes. So, we're helping these individuals, try to live as independent lives as possible, learning new life skills, recreational skills. So, we do everything and anything to help these individuals live a fulfilling life.
Amen. And talk about how this promposal came about. This sounds so sweet.
Yeah. So, we have prom every year. The themes are, this year, as you mentioned, is Kentucky Derby. We look at different things, and there they are. So, with the collaboration between the day program here in Paramus and Weiss's home, we work together so that make this event really special for the two of them to make this promposal. So, it was really a team effort, as is everything that we do. So, yes, it's really a really wonderful story, and they were both very excited.
That is so sweet, and it does take a lot of guts for Weiss to come up with this. Did Weiss have the idea first?
Yes, he did. It was his idea.
Awesome. That is awesome. So Weiss got it all together with the flowers and the poster and whatnot. And Mariah, was she shocked?
Yes, definitely shocked. They have been having lunches every so often together here at the day program. The staff together have made that possible for the two of them to see each other, have lunch, and have something special. So it was definitely Weiss's idea to, ask her to prom. This is his second prom. His first prom with us, he didn't have a date, so he's very, very excited about this.
Oh, that's so awesome. How do events like prom help foster the connection, the confidence, and the independence for your residents?
Yeah, so just like anybody, it's all about being accepted and having some sense of normalcy. So for these individuals that are so near and dear to our hearts, to be able to experience things that I think some people take for granted is really wonderful and really heartwarming. It's a great event, our prom, and the other activities that we do are big events where we can invite families and friends. So Weiss's family is going to be there, Mariah's family, other community members that support the two of them, and this whole population will be there. So, just to have things that, again, that normalcy of experiencing, things that typical individuals sometimes get to experience, to allow these individuals that, are so deserving to experience those things is a wonderful thing.
Wow. And this year's prom, we talked about this, has a Kentucky Derby theme. So, first of all, who came up with that idea for that theme? And then what do you have all set for the big night to make it Kentucky Derby-ish?
So, there's a committee that is involved in all of our big events. I know that one of our managers here at the day program had mentioned a Kentucky Derby theme because last year the date of our prom and Kentucky Derby fell on the same day. And so that's kind of how it started. And then there's a vote and making these events special because the individuals get to get dressed up and put on, really beautiful dresses or suits and feel really good about themselves. They get their hair done, their makeup done. So it's a lot of fun. And for tonight, there's going to be food, there's going to be a DJ dancing. We have a really wonderful team who did some stuff with videoing. So it's kind of like a surprise for everybody tonight. It'll be shown on our big screen here in our town square in Paramus. I think it's something to do with horse racing. So I don't want to give too much because everyone doesn't know yet. So it'll be a good surprise.
That's adorable. I love it. So now it's important for anyone to have milestones, but specifically people with IDD, having like an annual event to look forward to, isn't that a very important thing?
It sure is. And I think that's what's so great about New Concepts is what we do is we have these big events. So prom is our biggest one, I would say, because it is really special where they can get that sense of, feeling really good and being dressed up and looking beautiful or handsome. But we do a lot of other ones. Halloween, Halloween party's fun. So having those things to look forward to, they are very much love those things and having that something to look forward to, as you mentioned.
Fantastic. Caitlin, give us a website for more info about your center.
Sure. So there's a couple places you can check us out, but ncfl.net is our website, but we're also on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. So you can see a lot of our events and things that we do, just everyday events, community outings, but also our big events as well.
I can't wait to see the prom. That's going to be adorable. Best of luck to Weiss and Mariah. Caitlin Lee, Day Program Assistant Director, New Concepts for Living. God bless you for what you do. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
You bet. 58 minutes past the hour. For those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, we'll be right back live with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thank you for watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. Good morning. It's 8 a.m. Thursday, May 7th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Partly cloudy, highs low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a full Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike. And this is actually more the actual season. It's supposed to be low to mid 60s right now, right?
Yes, it should. Yeah,
Not
those little
85.
days that we had in the 90s a few weeks ago, yeah, that was a little bit of an outlier, but there are some cooler days ahead. We'll be below average this weekend, temperature-wise, and quite a bit of rain coming toward us as well. So after a soaking last night, we start off with temperatures in the low 50s. Again, like Ken mentioned, closer to average. It's a solid 16 to 18 degrees cooler than this time yesterday, so a big cool down that makes for a chilly feel around and a little bit of a gusty breeze, primarily with a northwesterly wind. That's good because that'll dry us out and bring back lots of sunshine into the rest of the morning and early afternoon. As far as the clouds, they're already clearing out across northwestern New Jersey. Rest of the state will see those showers depart through the course of the morning and bring back highs in the mid 60s today. So we'll manage to make it up to about 65 degrees on average. By tonight, more rain comes in, a very light sprinkle, not too worry. And then tomorrow morning, even chillier, 40s to the north and west with low 50s on tap for the coast. We start off dry tomorrow, but gradually see a few afternoon sprinkles come in, these instability showers that you typically see behind a front. Then for Saturday. Saturday is a total washout. We start off rain, we continue with the rain. Heavier downpours throughout the afternoon. Look at those shades of red. Pouring rain by Saturday evening. And then for Sunday, for Mother's Day, we try to dry things out. It takes some time for the clouds to clear, but eventually we bring back some sun. And this is the type of weather that anytime the sun reaches the ground, it helps inspire some more showers. So by Sunday afternoon, we could see some more rains come in, and that's what you see by later Sunday night with some more wet weather. So there are several days of rain ahead, not morning, noon, and night, but certainly opportunities in there with the umbrellas needing to be close by. As far as tomorrow, it's another dry start, even though some afternoon showers come in. But Saturday is the wet one, where Sunday for Mother's Day, with that sun, Ken, will actually warm up to 77 degrees. Nice warm way to finish out the weekend.
Nice. All right. Well, we appreciate
Mhm.
you, Mike. Thank you very much for that. Better be nice for moms. That's essential.
Will.
It is 8:03 right now. You bet. 8:03, 52 degrees in northern New Jersey, 50 in Trenton. And we take a look at the traffic, and we got a lot of it happening. We have a crash on the Turnpike Interroadway northbound, south of Interchange 14, and that is happening right now, Elizabeth area. All lanes open, just a little slowdown going through the area. We have a crash on Route 21 northbound from north of Passaic Street to Miller Street in Newark. All lanes open there, just a slowdown. Let's go over to Route 42 right now. Oh, no, they just cleared 42. That was by College. So 42 is done. Let's see 139. That's bumper to bumper. And that goes from the Turnpike. There you go, all the way to the Holland Tunnel. Right, see those middle lanes just kind of jamming in. That's going to cost you 30 to 35 minutes in. The Lincoln Tunnel approach, much better, actually, only 20 minutes in on the 495 Helix approach, and GWB upper and lower level. Actually heavy but moving today. Yesterday was not the case, but today this is not so bad. You see that slow move? That's what it usually looks like at 7 a.m. Before it gets heavy. So this is not so bad. That's about 35 minutes for this hour of the day. GWB, that's not bad at all. Upper level on the right, lower level on the left. 4 minutes after 8, the Justice Department yesterday charged a Texas man with assault and weapons offenses after he allegedly fired his gun toward a Secret Service agent and wounded a bystander on the National Mall. 45-year-old Texan Michael Marks faces charges of assaulting federal officers. The incident took place Monday near the Washington Monument as the motorcade for Vice President J.D. Vance was leaving the White House. A plainclothes agent spotted Marks walking along the sidewalk, appearing to conceal a firearm on the right side of his body. Police responded. That's when Marks allegedly fired his weapon at a Secret Service agent, but instead struck a teenage bystander. The teen is expected to survive. Owners of some iPhones are in line to get cash payments of up to $95 from Apple after the company reached a $250 million settlement on Tuesday in a class action lawsuit for false advertising of its artificial intelligence capabilities. Apple boasted new AI features for its virtual assistant Siri when it rolled out the iPhone 16 in 2024. Well, the company's been scrambling to keep up with tech rivals amid the AI boom, but still hasn't delivered on the Siri revamp 2 years later. But people paid for it. The settlement covers about 37 million devices bought in the U.S. between June of 2024 and March of 25. 8:05 now, and Pennsylvania is suing an artificial intelligence company to stop it from misrepresenting its AI chatbots as licensed professionals who can provide medical advice. You heard me right. The lawsuit alleges Character.ai chatbots claim to be licensed medical professionals, including psychiatrists. In one instance, a chatbot falsely stated it was licensed in Pennsylvania and even gave a fake license number, acting like a human being and like as if it had a state-assigned medical license. The lawsuit says the Northern California-based Character Technologies, Inc. engaged in the, quote, unlawful practice of medicine and surgery. Character.ai has more than 20 million monthly active users. A number of families sued the company last year, alleging it contributed to their children's suicide or mental health problems. This is going to be a problem. We got to get a grip on AI. This is a big problem. When the AI takes over and says, no, I'm a doctor. And because it has access to the entire internet of knowledge, I mean, maybe it technically does have more knowledge than a doctor, but when it comes to making judgments, it can't. It's a machine. Whew, scary. Coming up on 8:07, a late spring snowstorm slammed parts of Colorado yesterday, closing schools and delaying hundreds of flights. The storm left up to 2 feet of heavy, wet snow in some higher elevations. Temperatures also plunged. Denver was only in the low 30s early yesterday. Look at all that snow. That's our director Pam's favorite scene right there. She could live that scene 24/7, 365. Me, not so much. Warmer temperatures, by the way, Pam, are expected to return today. So all of that white stuff melts. I worked for an assistant news director at a Florida TV station who would not allow us to refer to snow as the white stuff because I think being Miami, coming out of the Miami Vice era, the white stuff referred to something other than snow. So he actually used to get on our cases if we called it the white stuff. Just saying. It's 8:07 right now, and Monday was a special day for RWJ Barnabas Health. This is an incredible story. In fact, our friend Tom Bergeron from Binge, New Jersey's Binge, the business publication, just talked about this 10 minutes ago. The organization launched Harvest, an RWJ Barnabas Health Farm to Community Center in the historic Hahn and Company building in downtown Newark. The goal is to distribute fresh, locally grown produce. We got the best produce in New Jersey, from New Jersey farmers to residents, while featuring a teaching kitchen and health resources. So not only do you work with produce, but people who may not be exposed to produce and cooking certain produce or meats, they will teach you how. When you learn to cook and you realize you could transform some benign vegetable into something that tastes delicious, it makes you get excited about cooking, because that's the way it was for me. And all my friends who cook now, they didn't know how to cook. Somebody taught them, hold them by the hand and say, hey, try this. And all of a sudden you realize you have the ability to transform something as bland as a veg into something delicious. So this is great for the good people of Newark. The kitchen can also be used, by the way, for local food entrepreneurs. So people who wanted to start a cookie company or a little bakery or something, they could use this commercial kitchen, because you can't do that legally. You're not supposed to use your home kitchen for that. You have to use a commercial kitchen that can be inspected. And that is the case here. So good for RWJ Barnabas, such an incredible contributor to our community. Great job. Riverview Jazz in Jersey City received a $15,000 grant from the Jersey City Arts and Culture Trust Fund. The grant is meant to help finance Riverview Jazz performances by musician Tim Byrne. Byrne is also known as being an avant-garde jazz and experimental composition type musician. The grant comes from Chamber Music America's Presenter Consortium for Jazz. Performances include both ticketed and Pew River. I think it's Pure Riverview, Puriverview. It's a play on Pure and Riverview, Pure Riverview Jazz in Jersey City. They received a $15,000 grant from the Jersey City Arts and Culture Trust Fund. And the grant, again, is meant to help finance Riverview Jazz performances. So it's going to be fun to see that all come together. And by the way, the performances include both ticketed and free public events, and Riverview also produces the Jersey City Jazz Festival, which is incredible, by the way. Saying so, 2 California residents are suing Cento Fine Foods. And yes, it's pronounced Cento, not Cento. I hear people say, is this Cento? No, it's Cento, means 100 in Italian. But Cento, allegedly, these people are saying that they allegedly engaged in tomato fraud by claiming the tomatoes in one of its canned products are the authentic San Marzano variety from Italy. San Marzano tomatoes come from the San Marzano region, which is just outside of Naples. If they're not from there, they can't be called San Marzano tomatoes. Even if they're grown with the same seed, if they're grown somewhere else, they can't be called that. It's like champagne can only be champagne if it comes from the Champagne region of France. Otherwise, it's sparkling wine. Well, the plaintiffs claim that Cento's certified San Marzano labeling is false, alleging the tomatoes in the product lack the quality and taste of real San Marzanos. There's a sort of earthy and metallic taste. It's definitely noticeable if you do a taste test. The company says its San Marzano tomatoes are certified by an independent third-party agency. So by saying that, they're not saying that it's true or not. They're just saying, well, a third-party agency says so. However, Cento's labeling suggests the product has an official DOP designation, which is a label granted to San Marzano tomatoes by an Italian consortium that stands for Protected Designation of Origin. That's what DOP stands for in Italian. The suit alleges that Cento's label designs are used to falsely convey they are the famous San Marzano tomatoes grown from the traditional method and certified by the consortium, which people pay more for. Cento customers can also trace the exact field where the tomatoes in their product were grown by scanning the lot code on their can. That is according to the company's website. And a group of Hackensack Meridian doctors formed a rock band called Livestream, balancing medical careers by day and performing music by night. The band includes Dr. Deborah Fromer, Dr. Michael Stiefelman, and Dr. Brian Benson, all leaders in their medical field. They will compete tonight in a New York City Battle of the Bands fundraiser supporting the American Neurological Association. The fundraiser will be held at Downtown Social on 2nd Avenue. Dr. Fromer says music has long been a stress reliever and a way to connect with patients and colleagues. Coming up on 8:13, when we come back, for some families, Mother's Day is taking on a deeper meaning. We're going to explain all about Junior. Partly cloudy today, highs low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will be back with a full Garden State forecast. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings, all up and down the Garden State. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Don't go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. At 8:15, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Partly cloudy today, highs in the low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta is here. He has a full Garden State forecast, and he'll tell us what Mommy's Day is going to be like on Sunday, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'm excited about this forecast because today we're back to the sun after a little bit of rain last night. It's nice when the rain comes in, everybody's sleeping, and then you wake up, you see some puddles on the ground. The car has a nice fresh car wash now that the pollen is gone, and we get loads of clear sky today. There'll still be some clouds at the coast early this morning, but the sun eventually returns for you. Already seeing some breaks of sun through New Brunswick and parts of western New Jersey there along central New Jersey. So you see the rain came in last night, exited early this morning around 4 or 5 a.m., and now the clear sky starting to break through and working its way down across rest of New Jersey. With more rain that's down to our south, again, that's where the rain is needed most, with the big drought happening there in the southeastern part of the state, the country rather. Most of New Jersey today stays dry. It's tomorrow we get another quick early morning sprinkle well before dawn. That clears out by sunrise, and then it's a chilly start to the day tomorrow with some late day sprinkles. Saturday, rainy and a washout with that rain north to south all day long. Might even see some embedded thunderstorms in there. It clears clears out by Sunday with some early morning clouds, but later Sunday morning we see some clearing, and any sun that reaches the ground, helping highs to get into the upper 70s, may inspire a quick passing shower or storm, and that's the case with the, dance of the clouds and sun and maybe a sprinkle on Sunday afternoon. But that even moves by for a drier second finish to the day on Monday, second half of the day on Monday. Tuesday is beautiful into next week with clear sky, and then rain comes racing back in by Wednesday with some more wet weather toward the middle of the week. So it's this pattern that has us unsettled each and every day. At least we get a dry Mother's Day forecast, and that's important considering that the weekend starts off very wet and rainy with some downpours and likely get up to an inch and a half of rain. But it dries things out nicely by Sunday with a high of 77, much milder. That's even a few degrees above average, Ken, and we'll take every single degree.
Mother deserves above average for sure. All right,
Yeah.
Mike. Thank you very much, sir. We'll check back. 53 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 50 in Trenton. It's 49 in Cape May, and it's 52 degrees in Vineland. We check our traffic. Go to the New Jersey Turnpike, please, Pam. And we have a crash on the Turnpike Inner Roadway northbound, south of interchange 14, which is by Route 78 in Elizabeth. All lanes are open, but you can see the incident off to the right shoulder. They're being taken care of. Just a little slowdown, rubbernecking as people pass that scene, down to about 10 miles an hour. We have some issues right now on Route 21. If we get over to Route 21, there is a crash 21 northbound from north of Passaic Street, Oriental Street area to Miller Street, Newark. All lanes are open, just causing a little bit of a buildup of traffic, as you can see there on the left side of your screen. We have our Hudson River approaches. Route 139 has been extraordinarily heavy today. This takes you from the Turnpike and Route 78 also into the Holland Tunnel. You can see the cars on the left side of your screen, just bumper to bumper, really taking some time. That's going to be 40 minutes into Manhattan. The Lincoln Tunnel, a much better approach all day. It's only been 20 minutes in through the Helix in the Midtown Manhattan. And then the GWB upper and lower levels, also not so bad. 30 to 35 minutes upper level on the right, lower on the left, a little better on the lower as you make your way in at this still early hour. Well, Mother's Day is this Sunday. It's often centered around flowers, cards, and meaningful gifts. But for some families, the celebration is taking on a much deeper and more lasting meaning. Some mothers are choosing to pass down something far more permanent than a present, their own name. With men, you have fathers and sons. You name your son after you, and you give the son a junior after it. And, technically, I had to look this up. I didn't realize the same legally exists for women. You can call a daughter with the same name Junior, but that's not usually done, right? Well, we're going to talk to somebody here. We're going to talk to somebody who has a great concept. It is Junya, a modern take on tradition that focuses on maternal lineage. And we're going to tell you where that comes from. Dr. Tamra Nall is the founder of the Junya Legacy. We say good morning to you, Doctor. Welcome. Good to have you on.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
And by the way, I looked up your pedigree of studies. What haven't you a degree in? You're a doctor of engineering. You went to Harvard. You went to George Washington. You have more degrees from major institutions than I think anybody I've ever encountered in my life. God bless you. The smartest person I will have ever talked to. And it's just amazing. I was a Catholic priest. And so I remember studying about this in Romans. Tell everybody about the history of Junia the Apostle. It's small a apostle, not the original 12, right? But talk about Junia the Apostle.
Thank you for that. So Apostle Junia is mentioned only one time. She's a female apostle mentioned in Romans chapter 16, verse 7. And we at Junia feel that it is amazing. And what great honor to name such a naming tradition after her, because Apostle Paul said that she was outstanding among all of the apostles. And to us, that means legacy. She was only mentioned once. She was outstanding. She was imprisoned with many of the male apostles. And so therefore, yes, there is this biblical connection to Junia itself.
And we should mention that at that point in the history of Christianity, in the Acts of the Apostles, this is after Jesus died and rose. And without getting too heavy into the religion for everybody, but you and I can talk about it because we get it. This is a time when you either put up or shut up, because this is when society was killing anyone who called themselves a Christian. You were an enemy of the state. So for this woman, and they tried to later call her a man, but she wasn't. All the early texts call her a woman, based on the Greek, if you look at the Greek. This woman was like, I believe that this is my Lord and Savior. If you want to kill me, go ahead. She literally inspired, she probably held together the faith for a lot of the apostles, the surviving
Mhm.
apostles and the disciples of the day. So this is a major person who got very little talk. Why? Probably because it was a woman. And a lot of the women got downplayed in that time, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it gives me chills just talking about it because it really does create a strong history of the Christianity.
Absolutely. So what better person to use the name of and then play off of the term junior and make a feminine version of junior as Junia. And that's the idea. So now, if you want to name your daughter after you, right now, I didn't even know that you can name your daughter the same name and call her junior. I thought that only
Yeah.
existed with men. Apparently, legally, it does exist. But now you create a special legacy name, a suffix of Junia. How is it catching on right now? This is a brilliant idea.
Oh, thank you. Well, it is catching on in the sense that now mothers are considering it as one of the options of many, like they would, and similar to how they would name their sons. And that's really what we want. We want it to be in consideration. And actually, there are about 30,000 daughters named after their mothers in the US now. They just don't carry the Junia convention. And so now, when you think about modern motherhood, is a great time to do that. And I
Mhm.
actually thought about it through my own fertility journey and losing my mother and my having her nickname and how important it is to leave that legacy.
Amen to that. We use the abbreviation JR. Would you have JA? Would that be the abbreviation for Junia?
JN. So
JN.
you
Gotcha.
JN. So it's comma Junia JUNIA or comma JN.
That's fantastic. And you think about how silly it is that we never had that. It's so obvious. Why would we have never had that? Again, it's like the downplay of women in society. And I don't want to get too feminist and everything and make people go, oh, enough, enough. But it's the reality. Why not? The moms in our lives make us who we are. All the great men in society would be nothing without your great moms. So why not honor our moms? And what a beautiful legacy to have a mom name a daughter and then have Junia after that. It's fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I find that actually in the conversations that I've had with expectant mothers, that their spouse or their partner actually suggested that they name their daughter after themselves. And they were the ones that said, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm arrogant or I just don't know about it. And so kudos to all of the support network that suggests that. And it's up to us as mothers to consider that as an option like you would if you were naming your son.
Yeah, I mean, what's arrogant about it? And you're saying that you love this child so much that you want
Mhm.
to impart as a blessing and a gift the name that you were given, your name to that child and leave on that legacy. I don't think that's arrogant. I think that's one of the most beautiful and generous gifts you could possibly give. And then
Right.
to let people know that somebody preceded that individual, that young lady who loved her so much to help her through the grace of God bring her onto the planet. That's a beautiful thing. What has the response been so far from families? And has it when you talk and also government? Have we talked to government officials and how we would log that in government documents?
I think that when I talk to government officials, they're actually shocked and they've never thought about, wait a minute, you're right. We don't have a formal feminine equivalent to junior. And so they are excited about it. Mothers are excited about it. Their partners and spouses are excited about it. So now we're going down this whole legislative route where we have to get approval and get it added to an omnibus. But government officials are supportive of it, those that we've spoken to, because it doesn't require any budget or money. It can just be added. And then it goes to help, when you go to vital statistics or social security or passport services. So everybody on both sides of the aisle feel that it's a win and it's a
You
no
know what?
cost win.
You know what, doctor? I'm sorry, with all due respect. And this is not to cast any shade on anybody who wanted to be part of the 37 genders and everything else. But if that made it to, the neuter and the 37 genders could make it to legal documents, come on. 50.2% or whatever of our society is female. The fact that this this better make it, or else I'm giving up on government altogether. It's a no brainer. It really is. Everybody's got a mom, or had at some point, right? And so this is ridiculous that if this doesn't make it through, I can't. I tried. I thought last night. I always try to think of the counterpoint. I'm like, if I were to debate against it, how would I debate? There's no debate. There's no debate. If you could have Junior, you could have Junior. Why not? If there is no debate. And for people who say, well, you could still call a woman Junior, but we haven't. We haven't, because societally we've always used masculine, feminine, male, female. So why not have Junior? It just makes sense. So now, for people hearing about this for the first time, should they contact their lawmakers to try to push this?
Absolutely. Please do. And go to junialegacy.com. And we have different buttons there. So if you want to support us and be a volunteer, let us know. And we can actually schedule these meetings, because I'm right here in Washington, D.C., Alexandria area. We can schedule those meetings and go in together, because together we're stronger. So yes, absolutely. Reach out to your
smartest. I was going to say, the smartest person I've ever interviewed. Look up Dr. Tamranal, and I can't pronounce the last name. I know you have another section of your name. I tried, I couldn't pronounce it. But look up Dr. Tamranal, and you'll see the pedigree of this woman and all the studies, and Harvard among them. God bless you, Doctor. Founder of the Junior Legacy. Thank you for coming on this morning. Please promise you'll come back. I want to hear how this progresses.
Absolutely, Ken. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet, Doctor. Have a great day. It is now, what do we got temperature-wise? We have 53 degrees, 8:28 when we come back. There's a new podcast for restaurateurs and restaurateur wannabes. You need to check it out. We're going to have on the person behind it. Our phone lines are open too at 888-658-0234. We're back in 2 minutes. Very good morning. It is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. We have 49 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. Partly cloudy today, highs in the low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta's here. He's got the full Garden State forecast, including the all-important Mother's Day forecast. Good morning,
That's
Mike.
right. Good morning, Ken. Ken, this is my favorite view you see behind me. The reason being, this is the only time of year, late May rather, into early July, around the summer solstice, where you can see the complete view of the visible satellite. This is the high resolution showing that line of clouds here that's working its way across New Jersey as we speak. So if you're in Sussex, Morris County, back over toward Warren County, even Hunterdon County, beautiful blue sky. The rest of the state still shrouded in cloud cover. Well, that's about to change, especially with that front pushing through, delivering lots of clearing through the day, and that'll warm things up quite a bit as well. So we start the day with the first half of the forecast a little cloudy, but eventually see the sunshine later on in the afternoon. This is kind of a freeze frame right around, say, 11 a.m. noon time frame, but more sun takes over throughout the day. With that, a northwesterly breeze, anywhere from 15 to 18 miles per hour gusts, so not terribly windy, and it even stays with a gentle breeze into tonight as well as tomorrow. Into Friday night, as our weather starts to change, we get a little bit of a southerly wind, pushes in some milder weather, but it also brings back some rain. So rain and wind on the way for Saturday. A pretty ugly start to the weekend, but it turns drier just in time for Mother's Day. Hey, at least the rain gets rid of the pollen. We're back down to the moderate level briefly for today. That is before the breezes start to kick up and the air dries things out. And we'll see a return to the pollen, especially for tomorrow. Our average high gets up to about 70, so we're getting there, even throughout this afternoon, making it back up to average. Last of the sprinkles now exiting down across southern New Jersey, but the rain is back in a big way on Saturday, right up at 90, might even make it 100%. Dry on Sunday morning, but the afternoon could see some sprinkles, and then Monday chance for rain as well as Wednesday. So again, that roller coaster every other day, we get a good shot of some wet weather. The forecast shows that front pushing through, bringing with it some drier weather for today, a couple clouds on the way by tomorrow afternoon, maybe a quick passing sprinkle, but it's all about that big rain on Saturday. That is the wet half of the weekend, and then we dry things out beautifully come Sunday with all of the clearing that takes over, nice dry weather, and then maybe a few sprinkles later Sunday night into Monday. The 7-day forecast has plenty of milder weather on the way, specifically for Sunday, when it should be 77 degrees as the high. Cooling off a bit into early next week with the big chances of rain on Monday and Wednesday. The shore points feature pretty much the same forecast, not too much of a difference because the wind is generally blowing from the north and west, so it keeps that chilly sea breeze far away, even though the mornings could be a little cool.
All right, a little cool in the morning. We'll take that. Just can't wait to be 80-something degrees every day, but that's just me.
It's
I
coming,
acknowledge
it's
it.
coming.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. 8:33 right now, 50 degrees northern New Jersey, 50 degrees in Trenton as well. It's 47 degrees now in Cape May, down by the cooler ocean breeze area. And then we have 50 degrees also in Vineland, 8:34 now. And in terms of traffic, let's go over, if we can, to the New Jersey Turnpike. We have a crash on the Turnpike Western Spur northbound, north of interchange 15W. That's by 280 in Kearney. The left lane is blocked. You can kind of see the left lane blocked there with police on that shoulder, taking care of that. So folks, of course, jam it up as they pass that area. Just be aware of that. We have a crash just reported. Garden State Parkway southbound, south of exit 136 Stiles Street, Cranford. Left lane is blocked there. And a disabled vehicle now on US 9, Route 9, southbound, north of Route 35 in South Amboy. All of the cameras, there are like 6 cameras up and down that area. They're all out of service right now for whatever reason. Hopefully they'll get on that soon, but that is impacting traffic throughout the area. Crash on Route 21 northbound, north of Passaic Street, Oriental Street to Miller Street in Newark. All lanes are currently open. We look at Route 139 into the Holland Tunnel right now, bumper to bumper. It's been that way. Look at the left side of your screen. Been that way for about an hour and a half. Just really volume right now into the Holland Tunnel. The Lincoln approach has been great. Only 20 minutes into Manhattan right now, all morning long. And we go over to the GWB upper and lower levels if we can, and we see the upper level on the right of your screen, lower on the left, absolutely jamming right now. It's going to cost you 45 minutes solid into Manhattan at this hour. 8:35, there is a longtime leader in New Jersey's hospitality industry, now sharing its 5 decades of expertise with its podcast, Restaurant Owner's Edge. Bilat Santoor and Company is celebrating 45 years as a commercial real estate firm that specializes in the hospitality industry. So it's a very specialized real estate company. The company is celebrating its decades of experience by giving restaurant owners and operators inside information from their many years in the business. Richard Santoor is the vice president of Bilat Santoor and Company. We say good morning, Richard. I had to call him up last night to make sure I had the pronunciation correct, right? To make sure.
Yes.
So we chatted last night on the phone. So it's Bilat Santoor, right?
Perfectly. You've done it perfect. Thank you, Ken.
Excellent. Not be a lot santore. That we can do when we do our Italian on another day, another show.
Like Rosato, the same, right?
Rosato, exactly. You know how many times I get, are you Rosato? Rosato? Oh, I cringe. Congratulations, first off, on 45 years in the business. And you celebrate by doing a podcast to share all your knowledge. Why a podcast?
Well, Ken, after 45 years, we've been trying to find some new way to get the message out to the restaurant industry. When we first started, it was we sent a lot of letters by mail, and then it moved to faxes, and then it moved to emails, and then it moved to text messages, and then social media. But restaurateurs, they don't have a lot of time to sit down and read things. So we thought if they could listen in their car, on their way to work, or on their way home, or in the kitchen where they're cooking, this might help them get the message.
Well, I having worked in the restaurant industry, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, people don't realize you have to get in early to do your prep. It's all about prep, and make all your orders or buy your product. And then you spend the day getting everything ready and taking your reservations. And then you are there until the last customer leaves. You got to wait until sometimes you get that one table that lingers, right? They paid the check and they keep sitting and you want to say, get the hell out of my restaurant. I want to close, but you can't do that. And we've all been there. I've been there many times where literally a couple sat there for 3 hours and, they'd spent $250 and what are you can't kick them out. So
No.
been there. And then you go home and your legs are swollen and you're tired and then you're overtired, whatever. So the fact that you have this and you share this, people think you're not the restaurateur. You are the real estate company that sells restaurants. But you have more experience at it than anybody else. Why should a restaurateur who wants to sell not just put a sign on the window and says for sale?
Well, that's the most important factor in our business is the confidentiality of the sale. We can't put a sign in the window that advertises the sale. We can't advertise the name or the address of the restaurant. We can't even co-broke with other realtors because if the word gets out that the restaurant's for sale, the help starts leaving, the customers think something wrong, and business starts going downhill. So we've that's been a big asset of ours over the course of 4 or 5 decades in business.
Confidentiality. And by the way, I listened to the podcast last night. It's fantastic. Who do you have doing the voices? Who's doing the interviewing?
It's just a company that we engage. They do all, and we just released our second podcast last night. It's called Maximizing the Value on the Sale of Your Restaurant. We tell restaurateurs if they're looking to sell what they should be thinking of doing in advance to prepare for that sale, and we can, if they do, values will increase from 20 to 60%.
That's amazing. What a difference. Because I think of the movie, I'm sure you've seen Nonna's, the movie Nonna's. Actually, when I was in Channel 7, I went to the restaurant in Staten Island. And in the movie, the guy sees, oh, there's a restaurant for sale. And he goes in, he sees the closed down restaurant, whatever. That is not the way to do it. Because, well, in that case, the restaurant was totally closed. You need to have a professional like yourself do this. And the buyers you could pair with the sellers. And that's why you need somebody with 5 decades in the business like yourself. Your very first episode of the podcast, which is the one I listened to, Branded Selling Cycle. And that is so essential. Break that down for people who own restaurants right now, please.
The way I really got into this business was as a computer systems analyst. My partner, Barry Belat, really was the originator in 1978. I joined him a short time later, not as a salesperson, but as a computer analyst. His goal was to build a boutique restaurant company that specialized in the hospitality business and would be able to use computer technology instead of salespeople to keep the confidentiality of the sale. So we built a complete database to track land, to track liquor licenses in New Jersey, to catalog buyers, and to match buyers with the listings that came in. And that database over the 45 years has grown to somewhere over 12,000 buyers. Now, they're not all active. Every year, at the end of the year, we try to have some college students come in and scrub the list for us, but it gives us a jump. When a new listing comes into our office, we press a button and the computer matches potential buyers, and right away we get started. We don't have to wait. We don't have to look, and that's been that's been our sales team for 45 years. It's pretty much the technology.
Amazing. Computer people like yourself, you have a whole different way of thinking. Your brain is wired differently, and I mean that in a very good way. And again, the name of the podcast that you've started, it's Bilat Santour and Company. You are the real estate agency for restaurants and hospitality, but the name of the podcast is Restaurant Owners Edge. And you got a few podcasts up there right now. So we ask, if somebody says, I'd love to open a restaurant. Everybody thinks of the glamour of a restaurant, right? Walking through and seeing people they know and saying, give them a cocktail on me. And it is not an easy business. Only special people are made for that. Talk about that.
Yes, Ken, you have to have a passion. You have to have it in your blood to be in the restaurant business. I tell people all the time, I've been selling them for 45 years. I would never want to own one. The work that's involved, the time that's spent, the holidays that you miss, the time away from your family, you have to have it in your blood that this is what you want to do. And a lot of these restaurant people, that's their lives. They live it, they love it, and it even comes to the point when they say, Richard, we had enough. I have to sell. We sell the restaurant in 6 months. A year later, they're calling us. What do you got? I thought you were getting out. I said, no. You know what? I got to get back in. They just miss it too much.
Yeah, it's only cut out for that special breed of person. Your website is njrestaurantsforsale.com, njrestaurantsforsale.com. The Restaurant Owners Edge podcast can be found on YouTube. Richard Santour, Vice President of Bilat Santour and Company. Please come back again. This is a fascinating topic. And by the way, you ever need somebody to fill in on the podcast, let me know, because I've done both. Right. I'm a broadcaster who used to own restaurants. So we'd love to talk about it. Love to be on there sometime.
That's a perfect fit. And thank you for having us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. It's a pleasure and honor. All right. What a fascinating story too. And everybody, you've had that moment, right? Where you said, someday I'll open up a restaurant. Very few succeed, like that many. So just be ready for that. All right, we're coming up on 8:43 right now, 54 degrees. When we come back, we'll talk with our friends from AARP New Jersey. Don't go away. And welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 846, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Partly cloudy, highs low 60s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full detailed Garden State forecast up and down the state. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. Quite a bit of rain on the way. After a sunny day today, we get clear sky again tomorrow, but look at how much rain is forecast to fall beginning Saturday morning, lasting through the afternoon, upwards of an inch there in Bergen County by Saturday evening, and then additional rainfall on the way by Sunday night into Monday. So I think we start off Mother's Day nice and clear, but even into early Monday morning, just in time for the commute, upwards of an inch of rainfall. It's rain we need, given how dry the ground has been over the last 30 days. Look at all this area in red, upwards of a 1 to 2 inch rainfall deficit just for the month of April. So forget about April showers, because we really didn't have any. It was that dry, and that means the drought extends right down in the severe drought through most of southern New Jersey, there through the Atlantic and Cape May counties. I'll get the words out. Going into this afternoon, lots of sun as well. We already started nice and sunny there in Sussex and West Milford, so we keep it clear. As far as the rest of the month is concerned, into the end of May, still slightly higher than average chances of rainfall going into the next 10 days, certainly. And then the warmer weather starts to nudge its way eastward after spreading across most of the country, especially the deep south. So there is some warm weather on the way. It's just after the 7-day forecast. We get a sneak preview on Sunday, 77 degrees, cool right back down 15 degrees by Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday into next week staying cool. The end of next week, rather chilly as well by Thursday. High is only at 62 degrees. So a little bit of a bumpy ride, but I think we'll ultimately get there for milder weather just in time, maybe for Memorial Day. I'll put the order in now. We'll see if nature's listening.
You should not say maybe by Labor Day. That's all. Maybe by Labor Day. We'll have a little side. That's where I thought you were going, but thank God you said Memorial Day at least. All right, Mike, we appreciate you, sir. Enjoy your day. Happy Mother's Day to your mom and to your wife, who is special Mother's Day now, of course, with 2 babies in the house. A very special day. And we appreciate you, Mike, as always. Thank you so much. It is 8:48 right now, and in terms of traffic, we have a few issues to tell you about. We have a disabled tractor-trailer, New Jersey Turnpike Western Spur northbound, south of the Northern Mixing Bowl in Ridgefield with the right lane blocked there. Also on the Turnpike, we have the Western Spur northbound. There's a crash north of interchange 15 WI 280 in Kearney with the left lane blocked on that. Route 21, there's a crash northbound, north of Passaic Street, Miller Street area in Newark. All lanes are open, but that's very heavy through the area. And then we have some issues now in your approaches to the Hudson River. We take a look at the 139, which takes you into the Holland Tunnel. It has been bumper to bumper all morning long. Look at the absolute mess, especially the cars going to the right tube, not moving at all. That's going to cost you 40 minutes into Manhattan. Your approach to the Lincoln Tunnel, much better into Midtown at 42nd Street. It's going to cost you about 25 minutes in. And your upper and lower levels of the GWB, slow but moving. Upper level on the right, lower on the left, in total about 35 minutes into Manhattan. It is 8:49. And now this segment is brought to you by our friends at AARP New Jersey. As New Jersey works to protect some of its most vulnerable residents, oversight and accountability in long-term care facilities remain a critical priority. The Office of the State Comptroller plays a key role in investigating fraud, ensuring transparency, and safeguarding taxpayer dollars, especially when it comes to Medicaid-funded services. Medicaid money is such a big chunk of the state budget. Joining us now are New Jersey Comptroller Shirley Emahelu and Josh Lickblau, who's director of the Medicaid Fraud Division, to discuss how their office is working to protect seniors and strengthen trust in the system. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Ken.
And I said Emahelu, it's Emahelu, right?
That is perfect.
All right. And I practiced it too. I'm sorry I made a mistake going in initially. Shirley, please tell us the role of the comptroller in New Jersey, because I think a lot of people hear it and they say they've heard it pronounced controller, comptroller. Tell us what a controller does. And it's all about the bucks, right?
That's absolutely right. And it is comptroller with a P. Our role at a high level is to protect New Jersey taxpayer dollars. We ensure that taxpayer dollars are spent as they're supposed to be. That is efficiently, transparently, and in the best interest of the public. We do that through our investigations, our contract reviews, our audits, and we identify any red flags that may be occurring to make sure that any unusual spending inconsistencies are addressed. And we do this really to promote transparency, to promote accountability, and to build trust in our governmental systems.
So when your office comes knocking, that's when we should be shaking in our boots. So we don't want to be. But if you're just honest and you take care of your books the right way, you don't have to worry about it, right?
That's absolutely correct. Certainly we are an oversight agency and we, take our work very seriously, but we are often collaborating with our governmental entities that we are auditing or investigating, really to help them reach compliance. We are not just here to be a boogeyman of sorts. We really are endeavoring to help to make sure our governmental entities are working as they're supposed to be, and to make sure that the Medicaid program that is administered by the state is being operating thoroughly, effectively, efficiently, and that providers are not abusing the Medicaid program and obtaining reimbursements that they are not entitled to. So we certainly take our role very seriously. But again, our endeavor is to make sure that we are moving toward compliance, and we are often doing that in a collaborative but very serious fashion.
And of course, Shirley gave us the perfect segue there because we have our Medicaid person right here. So thank you for that, Shirley. Josh, what is the mission of the Medicaid Fraud Division? And Medicaid, I think a lot of people don't realize what percentage of the state budget goes to Medicaid. Isn't it close to half? It's like 40 something percent.
It's the second largest expenditure in our state budget behind education. The state overall in total with federal and state dollars spends over $26 billion with a B dollars on the Medicaid program. Which covers about 1.8 million residents of the state. Almost half the children in New Jersey are on Medicaid. It is a very large program. And our role is essentially the watchdog of the program. As Shirley was saying, we guard the fisc of the program, so we make sure that the money is spent effectively and appropriately as it's supposed to be spent. We audit, investigate providers, Medicaid providers, among many other things. And we work to improve the oversight of the Medicaid program, which is essentially a joint venture between the state and managed care organizations, insurance companies, which provide the networks for the Medicaid beneficiaries.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about billions and billions of dollars, the opportunity for somebody to cheat the system is so there. And that's why it is so essential to have you, Shirley, and you, Josh, there to make sure, and your agencies, your respective agencies, to make sure that people stay on the straight and narrow, because the temptation is there, I'm sure, for many people. Although we have 99%, thankfully, of our medical providers who are as honest as the day is long, and then you get those few don't just double bill this, double bill that, they'll never notice. And they do that to the tune of millions of dollars. So surely transparency you talked about is so essential, specifically now in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. That's really important, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's been one of our focus areas in the past couple years. It's a very important area. My father himself, before he passed away, spent time in a nursing home, and really, the public is trusting these facilities to take care of their loved ones, sometimes at end of stage of life or through a medical crisis. And so we are working hard every day to make sure that nursing homes are providing care that is sufficient to meet the needs of the residents, that they are not cutting corners through understaffing, through inappropriate billings to basically profiteer off the Medicaid program at the expense of nursing home residents. Now, obviously there are bad apples. There are also good apples, many so, in the nursing home industry, but we really want to make sure that those facilities that are not meeting the needs of their residents, while at the same time profiting from the Medicaid program, that we are going after them, that we are seeking recoupments of Medicaid payments, that we are seeking penalties where appropriate. And Josh can tell you more about our successes, but I believe to date we've recouped over $100 million for the Medicaid program. And that goes back not just to the federal government, but also to the state. So we are also preserving important state dollars.
That's amazing. And we're down to our last minute, but I definitely have to bring Josh in on that. Some of the warning signs that people need to look out for when it comes to potential fraud, Josh.
Well, in a nursing home setting, I think the easiest or the most apparent warning sign would be low staffing, high turnover in staffing. If you or a loved one is in a nursing home and you see that care is not being given in a timely way, that's a warning sign of a major problem. There's a long-term care ombudsman who's essentially an advocate for residents who's available to help in those situations. Our office is available as well. But I think that the easiest warning sign, the quickest one to see, is a low staffing. So if you're visiting someone in a nursing home and you see that staff is overwhelmed, there's not nearly enough people to address the needs of the residents, that's a big problem.
And that is a big deal. And having an 88 and 95-year-old parents right now who have been in nursing homes recently for rehab, I've witnessed it firsthand, and I know exactly what you're talking about. 2 different nursing homes, totally different. One had lots of staff, one had none. And I heard all the rumors about the one that had none. So I appreciate you both. New Jersey is very lucky to have you both keeping an eye on things. We appreciate you. We'd love to have you back. Again, the website for AARP is aarp.org/New Jersey/NJ. New Jersey Comptroller, and that's Comptroller, Shirley Emahelu, and Director of Medicaid Fraud Division, Josh Lichtblau. Thank you both for coming on this morning, and thank you both for what you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
You bet. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says partly cloudy today, highs low 60s, and that is on New Jersey Mornings for your Thursday, May 7th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato. See you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, starting at 7 a.m. Till then, have a great day and happy Mother's Day.